It's not that different. I worked when Cathee and I were the same person before I left. We worked for 6 years in an international studies program at the University of Iowa, and we were in an international marriage for 5 years with a man from Thailand. So it's been not that different, really, in many ways than in a lot of other cultural bridging experiences that Cathee has had. And I feel like my life script included a lot of international. I did most of my international traveling, or Cathee and I, when we were the same person, did through international dating. Somehow we found that very convenient. I really feel like I've been exposed deeply to many cultures. And this is not that different in, needing to reorient, needing to learn a new culture, do what you can with the language, etc. But it's been even more exciting than that because there's a vibrational difference that I find lovely here. But there's also been dimensional comparison going on. When I first arrived, I was what we call cocooned for about 7 weeks. In other words, my spirit body wanted to step down my vibration, fit more and more physical so that I could have a physical body here. In doing so, I had to really master on a vibrational physical level an integration with the new community, the new land. And that was kind of for me like everything was fuzzy at first. It was kind of like feeling like I was walking underwater and I couldn't quite hear, I couldn't quite see very clearly, just kind of out of it. And yet, fully conscious. Tired a lot. I just slept a lot, and it was almost like my body felt like kind of squishy clay at first a little bit. And then it solidified. I don't quite know how to express that. I think maybe when I first arrived, if someone had looked at me, they would have thought I might have been a ghost. And I just kind of gradually filled in. And since, of course, I was a channeler for decades before I left, I was really comfortable with telepathic communication, which is, in my community, the norm here. So I had a lot easier here than a lot of people in that, like when Cathee's channeling, like now, I mean, I'm speaking to her in English, it's not a problem, but if I did not know English, she could still channel me because meanings are telepathic, units of transference. And you get the meaning, and her job as a channeler is to find the words for it. Those meanings, it's easier to translate if the person who's talking to you in another language has a language that's somewhat similar to yours. It does make it a lot easier. And indeed, the parallel world I'm on now has roots. It's very hard to specifically trace the exact timelines back, but the family I'm living with see themselves as having Irish ancestry, just like I do, Cathee does, and they somehow their history, they immigrated from Ireland to we're in the United States now. They call it something different, but it's kind of similar. They treated the natives much better. It's kind of like, from what we've been able to figure out, it's kind of like on Cathee's parallel world now, that I'm probably talking to most of you on, people, your world. It was mainly the Christians who came over and tried to Christianize the natives here, if that's a word, Christianize. On my host family's parallel world, they must have split off from their ancestors, and my ancestors apparently split off at a certain point. I would guess thousands of years ago, or at least 1,000. And on their parallel, it was the pagans, the non-Christians, the nature, the people who were very close to nature in their theology, who immigrated to this continent. So there's been a lot of bleed through. The Irish came over in both parallel worlds, and other immigrant groups. But the way they developed their technology, and they have incredible technology, was always in relationship, very close relationship with the spirits of the earth. And of course, on Cathee's world, there was a real disconnect from the earth. And my ancestry came through farmers. We still have in our family farmland in Kansas that is now full of pesticides and growing genetically modified wheat. On their where I am now, the parallel world I'm in now, Kansas, the equivalent landmass. I've been out to where our roots are, the old homestead kind of place. Although we didn't. Well, we weren't the original homesteaders there, but our roots go back with the farm there, and it feels so totally different. It looks so totally different. You've got people living in communes there who grow their own food for their own use, and they have amazing plants that I don't even know that, there's no plants like that on Cathee's parallel. They have worked so much with nature and we would say developing, I don't know another word, going back and forth with the nature spirits of those plants in that location, and that the plants and the humans have kind of worked out a real deep love and way of nurturing each other. That the plants have adapted to the humans have adapted to the plants. I swear that when I go to different regions of the country on my parallel world, people look physically like the land, and they look physically almost like the plants they eat. And when I say that, I need to say that I'm on a higher dimensional world now. So when we look at each other, we see largely the aura of a person. When I look at someone here, I see the physical, but the aura is almost stronger in my impression of that person. So there isn't nearly the emphasis on physical beauty and makeup and plastic surgery and all that. It's pointless. Your aura is what people will see more. The energies therein, whether you're clear and vibrant or whether you're a mean person, you can see a lot at a glance. And that is a lot harder to do anything cosmetically with. I think people see each other's true colors a lot more here. And it's a very telepathic universe. Universe you could call it. people can choose whether to physically speak or just have telepathic conversations. And at a distance is easy. And we have been so struck, both Cathee and I, that she's still back on your parallel where it seems to her that everyone is trying to technologically try to do what here is just natural. Before I left, for years the guides had been telling us that we have so altered, or you have so altered, the natural frequencies of the earth with your telecommunications. Cell phone towers, satellite towers, you name it. And all those, little gadgets that you carry around all the time, that you might be, if you hadn't so structured the energies and held back the evolution of the earth and her people with your technological electromagnetic prisons, really, that you lock everything into with the technologies, you probably would be much more telepathic as a whole. Cathee finds it kind of the opposite of what most people experience on your parallel. Well, Cathee, you can talk in your own words. Okay, so most, I hear people say, I need my cell phone to keep in touch with people. And I feel like if I'm in a room of cell phones, my whole ability to relate to my environment and feel the earth around me and resonate with not only nature but with other people in a telepathic interface, it just gets shut down when I'm in Wi-Fi, when I'm in the city. And so for me, my ability to communicate is hugely compromised by technology. Whereas, and I think most people, I think there's some bleed through going on, that we somehow know that the rest of the world is, the many worlds are telepathic. Many of them are telepathic, and this is a natural birthright. And we keep trying to copy what they have, like on Leenee's parallel, I think, technologically, and we're so thrilled with ourselves that we managed to come up with these gadgets. Even airplanes. On Leenee's world, many people can teleport and can take their physical body up to an astral level, and or just take their astral body out of the physical body, go where they want to vibrationally, and step down a new body there, and have two bodies going. I think our even air travel is really pale in comparison to the ability to do that. So I'm going to give it back to you, Leenee, though. Okay,